Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, it is 1st November today and today let us continue with the same topic which we started yesterday, that is poetic devices. Okay, poetic devices. Let us continue. As of now, we have discussed simile, metaphor, repetition, alliteration, hyperbole. So today we are going to discuss next poetic device, which is personification. As you all are very well aware, what is personification? Personification is a poetic device which gives, human quality to the non-living things. Okay, non-living or anything. Okay, if it is given a human quality, that is called personification. If any, you can say non-human thing is given a human quality, simple. Okay, so it is called personification. Let us write the definition now. Sorry, it is 3rd November. By mistake, I have written 1st November. It is 3rd November today. Personification. Okay. Personification is the attribution. Is the attribution of personal nature attribution of personal nature or human characteristics or human characteristics to something non-human, to something non-human, to something non-human, or the representation of, or the representation, or the representation of an abstract quality, of an abstract quality in human form, in human form. So dear students, personification is the attribution of personal nature or human characteristics to something non-human, or the representation of an abstract quality in human form. Okay, as you all are well aware of this poetic device. Okay, so I hope you have written it down. Let me rub it now. Personification is used, personification is used to help the reader, to help the reader. Personification is used to help the reader create a clearer mental picture. Help the reader create a clearer mental picture of the sense, mental picture of the sense or object being described, or object being described. So dear students, personification is used to help the reader to create a clearer mental picture of the sense or object being described. So simply, personification is a poetic device which gives human quality to non-human things. Simple. In a very simple language, we can say that personification is a poetic device which gives the human quality to non-human things, and it is used to help the reader to create a clearer mental picture of the sense or object being described. Okay, now write down example. Pathetic plate. Pathetic it has been taken from roadside stand. This year this poem has been deleted. A roadside stand. This year this poem has been deleted. Also in your 9th class you have gone through the poem The Brook. Okay, so it is also personification, in which any non-human thing is personified. It is expressed giving human qualities. That is called personification. Okay dear students, so I hope you have written it. I am going to rub it. Next poetic device, oxymoron. What is oxymoron? Oxymoron is the poetic device when two words are put together and they are different in meaning. They are opposite in meaning. Two words are put together, but they are different in their meaning. Okay. Let us write the definition. Oxymoron is a combination. Oxymoron is a combination of two words that together express a contradictory express a contradictory This device is often used for emphasis. This device often used. This device is often used for emphasis, for humor, or to create pressure or sarcasm, or to create pressure or sarcasm. Okay, dear students, oxymoron is a combination of two words that together express a contradictory opposite meaning. This device is often used for emphasis, for humor, or to create pressure or sarcasm. Okay. So there are so many examples of oxymoron which you must have gone through, like bittersweet. Bitter, sweet, that is sweet. Clearly confused. Clearly confused. Deafening silence. Deafening. Sorry. Deafening. You cannot see it. Let me rub it, then write down the examples. Sorry. Let me rub it. I hope you have written down the definition. I am going to rub it. I am going to write down the examples. Examples here, I am once again writing. Bittersweet, clearly confused, deafening silence, and one example from your poem, A Roadside Stand. Beneficent beasts of prey. Beneficent beasts of prey. A roadside stand. It has been taken from a roadside stand. Okay. So these are the examples of oxymoron, when two words, two opposite words are put together to lay emphasis. Okay. Now, next quoting device. Next is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet. Transferred epithet. Dear students, transferred epithet is a poetic device which is used as an adjective or adverb in a sentence. Okay? It is a figure of speech wherein an adverb or adjective is transferred or adjective is transferred from a noun to which it belongs. From a noun to which it belongs. Okay? Transferred epithet is a figure of speech wherein an adverb or adjective is transferred from a noun to which it belongs. Example. Also, there are so many examples from your home. An elementary school in a slum, like Nile disease, which I also gave you in your revision test, but you all made mistakes. Okay? Nile disease. Nile disease. Okay? It's a transferred epithet. It is Nile disease. In which form? An elementary classroom in a slum. An elementary classroom in a slum. Okay? So I hope you have written it down. Now I'm going to rub it and write down more poetic devices. Next one is imagery. Imagery is when an author describes a scene and author describes a scene is when an author describes a scene, S-C-E-N-E, scene thing or idea so that thing or idea so that it appeals to our senses. Like taste, smell, sight, touch or hearing. Sight, touch or hearing. This device is often used to help the readers clearly visualize, to help the readers clearly visualize, to help the readers clearly visualize the context and content, the context and content by creating a strong mental picture. By creating a strong mental picture. By creating a strong mental picture. So, dear students, imagery is a poetic device which is used when an author describes a scene, thing or idea so that it appeals to our senses: taste, smell, sight, touch or hearing. This device is often used to help the readers clearly visualize the content and context by creating a strong picture. So, dear students, in imagery, the poet or author uses some qualities which we can imagine. Okay, through imagination we can decode the actual text in a non-literal term. Okay. Let me write the example. Example: children's play. That is from which home? My mother at 66. My mother at 66. Okay, and it has been compared to a quality of youth in this poem. So it gives us the imagination of the quality of a youth, the spelling, children's spelling in this poem. So that is why it is imaginary. Okay. Okay, I hope you have written. I am going to write down the next poetic device. is symbolism. Symbolism refers to the use of an object figure, event, situation or other idea in a written word. Situation or other idea in a written work to represent something else, to represent something else. Dear students, you must have read the poem Fire and Ice, which is the best example of symbolism. Okay, so symbolism refers to the use of an object, figure, event, situation or other idea in a written word to represent something else. Like in that poem, fire stands for greediness, avarice, lust, while ice stands for hatred. So Fire and Ice, written by Robert Frost in your class 10, is the best example of symbolism. The whole poem is symbolism. Let me rub it and write more about it. Example of symbolism. As I have told you, Fire and Ice. An example from your poem, that is from 12th class, Wedding Band. It is from Aunt Jennifer's Tiger. Wedding Band. Okay, wedding band stands for what? Obstacles, imposition in this poem. So that is why it is symbolism. So it's all about the poetic devices. We have discussed 10 poetic devices. Now dear students, from my next video I'll revise all the poem. Explanation will be done. Each and everything from your poem will be discussed, and separately we will discuss all the poetic devices used in the poems. Okay, so after revision of writing part, we are going to start the poetry section. After that we'll start the revision of prose. Okay, so thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow with a new topic.